There are sounds in the Appalachian Mountains that don't belong to any animal. And one night, deep in the woods of southern West Virginia, two friends were about to learn exactly what that means. It was a normal night, nothing unusual. Two friends, we'll call them Jake and Mark, were hanging out at Jake's house, the way they always did. Late night, no real plans, just killing time, the way teenagers do in a town where there isn't much else to do. Around midnight, they got restless. There's a trail near Jake's house, one they'd walked 100 times before. Not long, not difficult, the kind of trail you stop thinking about because you know it so well. So they grabbed their stuff and headed out. If you've never been to southern West Virginia, you need to understand something about the woods there. It's not like a park. It's not like woods near a city, where you can always see lights in the distance, always hear a road somewhere. Out there, the mountains surround you in every direction. And at night, the darkness is total. The kind of dark you can't understand unless you've stood in it.
They walked about halfway down the trail, maybe 30 minutes in, to a spot they liked, a clearing where they'd stop, talk, just enjoy being away from everything for a while. And that night, the forest was alive. Not in a calm way, not in the way you'd expect on a peaceful night walk. There were noises everywhere. In the trees, in the brush, all around them. Movement, rustling, the kind of activity you don't usually hear, even at night. It wasn't threatening, exactly. Nothing was approaching, nothing was stalking them, but it was unsettling. Like the forest itself was aware, like something had shifted. They didn't think too much of it. They finished what they were doing, packed up, and started talking. The way you do when you're trying to ignore a feeling you can't quite name. And then, the forest went dead silent. Not quieter, not calmer. Dead silent. Every sound that had been there, the rustling, the movement, the constant low hum of a living forest, gone. Instantly. And in that silence, there was a voice. It's hard to describe. If you've ever heard one of those old children's toys, the kind with the cheap speaker, the kind that sounds slightly warped, slightly wrong, almost like the batteries are dying, that crackly, robotic quality. Now imagine that sound, but it's a voice. A humanoid voice. Shaky. Uncertain. And it had a tone to it. Almost mocking. It was coming from somewhere in the trees. Close. Too close. And the moment they heard it, they ran. They bolted straight down the trail in the opposite direction from where the voice had come. But here's the part that still doesn't make sense. The voice didn't stop. It didn't fade behind them the way a sound should when you run away from it. It didn't get louder either, like something was chasing them. It just stayed. The exact same volume, the exact same distance. No matter how far they ran, and at this point they were sprinting, full speed, lungs burning. That voice stayed with them, going over and over, never stopping, never speeding up to catch them, never falling behind. Just there, the whole time. They kept running, lungs burning, legs giving out, barely able to breathe. But they could see it, the end of the trail, the exit, almost there. And then, about 5 minutes from getting out. From directly behind them, a scream. Not an animal. Not a mountain lion, and one of them knew exactly what a mountain lion sounds like. Not someone playing a prank. Not a movie. A scream that sent birds exploding out of the trees around them. A scream that, in his words, was the most genuinely depraved, violent sound he had ever heard in his life.
They didn't stop running until they reached the car, got in, locked the doors, sat there for a long moment, just trying to breathe. To this day, he says he's only told this story to 3 people. All 3 brushed it off, said it was probably an owl, probably a bobcat, probably something. He doesn't believe that. He's never been someone who chases ghost stories or believes in the paranormal. But he says, and these are his words, he genuinely believes he encountered something inhuman in those woods that night. And to this day, he still doesn't know what that voice was saying.